Hello, welcome everybody to my first YouTube video for my bullet journaling. I just want to say thank you to everybody who helped vote for the first YouTube video and the second YouTube video, and I hope you find this helpful for organizing your meetings, planning, and just looking at everyday life stuff. So let's get it. Hey everyone, so I'm using the Amanda Rach Lee dotted notebook in pink. So for January 2021, I actually decided to go with penguins. My friend had sent me this picture and I thought it would be perfect for winter and for starting out the year. I actually had a hard time starting, but eventually I started. I just finished sketching out the first part of this spread and I'm about to work on the second. Okay, I'm just about done. I'm gonna write in January and call it a day on drawing. So now that I'm done, I'm actually gonna open some new pens that my friend got for me. So here are the PRIMROSIA dual tip markers, and I've never actually used them before, but I'm kind of interested in trying them out for this spread. Oh my god, these colors are so amazing. So I actually need to pick out some colors for the background city on the spread. Much regret, I need to stick all of these back in there. Yay, success! I did it. Okay, honestly, I think I have a few more I need to stick in here. Let's see if they fit. Alright, I did it. I got them in there. I thought it would be a good idea to spread out all the markers, but turns out it was not the right idea. So I am just struggling trying to pick out the markers that I need for the background when the penguins are looking at the city. Okay, so I picked out all my markers and these are the ones that I'm going to use, and I'm actually going to do a swatch on the last page of my bullet journal, and I just wanted to show you that there's a brush side and a fine side for each of the markers. So I'm flipping to the last page and let's get started. I thought it'd be a really good idea to write out the name first. So the name of the pen is PRIMROSIA. I'm pretty sure. I've never heard of this pen before, so I was really excited to write it down and sort of do a little swatch. The key to a good swatch is actually the upstroke being thin and the downstroke being thick. And the Fineliner, I just kind of do a up and down motion to match the sort of what you would do with the brush pen. Then I kind of just go through all the colors until all of them are done. to erase some of the parts that I wanted to color over because I noticed in the past that when you color over certain pieces in pencil, it actually is harder to erase them. So I wanted to get rid of that before I get started. I wanted to share how noisy this pen is. I want to apologize because you can also hear the TV in the background as I'm using these markers, but I wanted to show you how squeaky they are. Some people actually fall into the camp of loving the sound, and there are other people who absolutely detest the sound, but I wanted you to sort of hear that and make your own decision on how you feel about the sound of these markers. So the pen that I'm using here is actually the Sakura white jelly roll pen in 10. I am going to be using this pen throughout the video, so I just wanted to name it here first in case you were wondering. It felt like 2,000 years as I was trying to finish coloring up the scenery from the penguins looking at the cityscape and finally start coloring in the rocks. So I finally did some details with the rocks and I couldn't make too many decisions because I still wasn't happy with it. So I outlined that, and this is actually the next day, and this is what it looked like. So for this next part, I actually want to go back in and color in the other penguin, but first I need to swatch these different grays using the swatch that we had created earlier. Alright, success. I found the right color of gray. I wanted to go in with this grayer gray rather than the blue gray and follow up with the black, which actually looks like a very dark charcoal sort of gray. I wanted to fill in, finishing up and outlining with a fineliner. I like to use the Pigma Microns as my sort of favorite fineliner, and I just decided to do the outline of the second set of penguins because I was kind of tired of coloring, and lastly wanted to go in with my Tombow hard tip brush and write in January. So on this next page, I actually wanted to get started on drawing my calendar that I usually have for the month, so that way I can track all of the activities for the month, kind of like an agenda. Here you just kind of see me struggling count out my boxes, but the boxes ended up being 6x6 squares. After I finished counting them out, I actually wanted to go with the header in this sort of bluish gray color, and that was going to be how I outline my month. And then I'm going to go in with my Tombow for the circles for each date of the month. I actually set up my month with my week starting on Monday and then ending on the weekend of Sunday and Saturday together. It helps me to picture the weekend together, so that's why I always start with my calendars on Monday and end on Sunday. So as I'm finishing up with my Tombow, I'm actually going to grab my jelly roll in the 10 thickness. I find that it's best to wait a while after drawing the circles with using the Tombow, just so that the white doesn't bleed into sort of the circles that you've drawn. I also really wanted to track my Instagram followers as well as my YouTube followers because I have 0 at this point. And this next part is actually where I'm going to start drawing in my mood tracker and my habit tracker. These are things that I've actually been tracking for a while, so they haven't changed very much, but I do find it useful information about myself. And this is actually the 3rd penguin that I've drawn. I was not satisfied with a lot of the other penguins, and I had a really hard time trying to get the same level, the same evenness of the penguin's wings. I struggled a lot with this. Okay, now that I'm done with sketching it out, I actually want to go in and sort of outline it with my Fineliner. Again, I'm taking my Pigma Micron. I believe it's in the 0.5 millimeter, and then I'm actually going to go in and color this penguin for my mood tracker. This is a simple hack. If you want to elevate one of your titles, you just kind of grab a highlighter or a pen and sort of do a thick sort of maybe capitalization and then go over in cursive. It looks really pretty. And I'm about to begin my sort of second spread, which is my habit tracker with a different penguin who's a little bit more cute and a little bit more simple. Okay, now that I'm done sketching, I definitely want to go over with my Fineliner before I begin coloring in this penguin. I personally like coloring the outline and then using markers or colored pencils to fill in sort of the drawing that I just did, but you can always do the opposite if that's what you prefer. Oh no! So I accidentally wiped the marker and it wasn't done drying yet, so I tried to erase it with an eraser, but I find that if I just have something small I can use my jelly roll in the 10 thickness and most times it will work. I just wanted to outline something very simple with my Tombow. You can usually get away with doing sort of just normal print with the Tombow and it looking amazing. So now that I've finished my habit checker, I actually need to refer to my year at a glance to sort of get an idea for how I can fill in my months, because I usually track almost every day of the month in order to see what habits that I need to work on, as well as just keep track of just different habits that I've been doing. So actually I have water, and next to that I have intentional movement, On the bottom, I actually have vitamins and digital detox. I'm actually really trying to focus on spending time away from electronics since we spend so much time on Zoom and meetings and sending emails. I just wanted to take some time and not focus my eyes on the screen so much. And as well as thinking about my mood tracker, I was undecided on how I wanted to do this. So I decided on two different graphs, one of them being the first 15 days and the second graph being the next 16 days, since there are 31 days in January. I actually had to go back and refer to my grid spacing sort of layout. It's one of the spreads that I created in the 2021 setup for the overall year. That way I can refer to it when I'm doing spreads like this. I just wanted to make sure that I had enough room for both of the graphs, and I decided that I wanted sort of my mood to be tracked on a 1 through 10 basis, and as well as making sure that I had enough room to put all the days. So I had figured out the numbers, but I actually wanted to go and move the first graph up by 1. So that's what I did first before I actually went over with my sort of other Pigma Micron marker. Alright, so I finished my mood and my habit tracker. Now that I'm done with that, I'm going to start working on my weekly spread of the week, but I actually wanted to fill in the days for January. So I wanted to refer back to sort of my year at a glance, looking at the different months, counting the days, as well as figuring out the spacing before I actually started. Again, I'm going in with my Pigma Micron marker, sort of the thick one first to mark the days of the week, and then go in with a thinner one. I think this one is like the 0.38 millimeter, and then just sort of erase all the mistakes that I did before I start my weekly spread. I always like putting in my calendar for my weekly spread. That way it's easier to just see it on the page rather than flipping through my book. And I find that writing down everything really helps me sort of remember all the different things that I need to do, so that way it's sort of in my mind. So for this spread, it's actually pretty simple. I usually just create like an events taskbar, and I put all of the events that happen on the week in that particular sort of box, and I create separate headers for the days of the week. For example, here you see me doing Monday with the blue sort of outline first, and then going in with my Pigma Micron and writing in Monday. I also coordinate the date of each week with the box, so that way my events are sort of streamlined and my tasks are all underneath sort of this highlighted area. And then I do a different color for each day of the week, and I will again take my Pigma Micron and do each day of the week in a different color and coordinate all my events. So this is the final product for the first full week in January. I just need to sort of write in the days, and I should be able to write in my events and tasks that I have scheduled for this first full week of January. I think it's missing a note section, so we're going to put one in here after we finish all our days of the week. I'm really digging the colors for this week's spread. It's really cute. I like it. Okay, so we're going to do our final flip through. This is what we began with in starting our outlines, and this is what it looks like for the final product. Here is our month. Looks really cool. It's still blank, gotta fill it out. And moving on to the next page, our mood and habit tracker. These penguins are super cute. And our first full week in January. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope to see you for the next video, which will be the 2021 Alright, see you later.